For 50 years.
For 50 years.
For 50 years.
We have supported parents and families.
We've helped educate Islanders about mental health.
Supported youth surviving adolescence.
We have provided substance abuse prevention services.
We've counseled children in the schools. I'm Tamby Cork. I'm the administrator for the Youth and Family Services Department. Here at the Luther Burbank office, we provide a number of services. So we may have counselors seeing clients in person. We may have counselors seeing a client out in the park going for a walk or on a telehealth session. We also provide case management services, both in person and virtually, so that anyone who is in need of financial assistance or assistance with aging can reach our case managers.
My name is Marjorie Carlson. I'm the Senior Services Specialist here at MIYFS. I love being able to sit with elders and then connect them with their family members and facilitate that way that they can manage that transition as a family from being a parent and a child to a child who's now caring for their parent. I also do case management, so there are some elders that I'll work with regularly and I might do home visits with them. It's incredibly difficult for people to manage isolation, especially when we're working with seniors. They don't necessarily feel like technology is as connecting as someone else does. There's also the financial stress that can come with being on a fixed income later in life and increased care needs. And with everything that's going on economically, I'm definitely seeing a lot more stress and concern from elders on things like housing stability.
Over the past 6 months, our increase in need at the food pantry as well as our emergency assistance has increased almost by double. And the emergency assistances that we have provided is the most families that we've ever provided emergency assistance to before.
I often think of our food pantry program, though, as the canary in the coal mine. People run out of food, and so they seek this very low barrier way to access services, but it's generally indicative of a bigger crisis down the road.
My name is Leanna Montague. I'm a family therapist. A typical day for me would be meeting with clients in my office. I work community-based and I see my youngest clients are elementary age and I see clients up to their 80s. What stands out to me now is the intensity of emotions that I'm seeing. Much less resilience than I've seen before. I think a lot more fragility.
I'm Derek Franklin. I'm the Clinical Programs Manager at Youth and Family Services. I think the greatest mental health needs in the next year are going to be with families. I think kids are starting to rebound, and I sometimes think parents are having a harder time. As families, put kids first, now I think they need to slow down, step back, and start to sort of rebalance.
My name is Michelle Ritter, and I am the coordinator of the Healthy Youth Initiative. We work with youth on promoting substance use prevention and alcohol prevention. I feel really honored to be able to work on the prevention side to try to educate and have those conversations that we need to all be having within our families and our communities about what do we value and how do we help our kids grow up to make those good choices and have those opportunities that we all want them to have and be successful.
My name's Chris Harnish, and I work for Mercer Island Youth and Family Services, and I'm based at Mercer Island High School, providing prevention, intervention, and support services for young people. Been starting my 26th year.
My name is Harry Brown. I'm the Youth and Family Services Counselor at Islander Middle School, and this is my 21st year.
My name is Anna Orton, and I'm a school-based counselor at West Mercer Elementary. This is my 7th school year. A typical day for me is probably atypical. We, of course, have things scheduled, lessons in classrooms, sessions with clients, but we also have to be ready to pivot if anything emergent comes up.
Then it's the start of the day. I'm in the hallway, I'm greeting students. I might have a lunch group or 2 lunch groups where I invite students to my office just to hang out and make a ton of popcorn.
I'm able to make connections, small, just regular daily connections with students who I may or may not serve in the future. That sets a baseline for me, that they will feel safe and comfortable coming to me if something is wrong, and they have already learned I know them, I care about them, so they don't have to work through that with me the first time.
What concerns me most at this time is ongoing challenges students have managing stress. Stress can become overwhelming. transform into anxiety, supporting them through sadness, loneliness that can evolve into depression, and helping students have the awareness to know when to get help when those things start to build up.
At Mercer Island High School, we continue to put an emphasis on suicide prevention. We've partnered with the University of Washington, and we have what's called the LEARN program to get everybody speaking that same language. But more importantly, what do you do if you see those signs or symptoms, and how do we intervene before it gets to a point where maybe somebody's thinking about hurting themselves?
Access to mental health services is one of the top protective factors, especially for kids who are vulnerable and for families. And our ability to meet with youth, to meet with their families, and really mitigate things before they get to a point of crisis, potential hospitalization. And now take a look at the waiting list and you hear these stories, how difficult it is to connect. And here we are in the schools, offering this support, creating interventions that can make a difference in a kid's life in that day, not having to wait weeks or months or years. And we know the sooner we can intervene, the more significant the difference can be.
A lot of our community-based services here have waiting lists. Private practice people are backed up and aren't able to see people in a timely manner. Being school-based, we're there every day, we're accessible, and it breaks down that barrier for a young person and a family to be able to access high-quality professional mental health services as needed.
Because when even one child in the classroom is not doing well, it impacts every single child in that classroom. And by those kids getting the support they need, it is a positive for all of us.
One of the unique things about having a community-based mental health organization like Youth and Family Services on Mercer Island is that we're able to wrap around families in a way that is just not possible in other agencies. We see kids in the school, and then we're able to connect with their parents in our outpatient team. And if they're having challenges with financial insecurity, rent, food, etc., we're able to connect them with our case manager. And so we're able to provide this spectrum of services to a family that can lead to better outcomes. That's not always possible.
I feel so fortunate that we support one another and we show up for one another. And the professionals that I get to work with on a regular basis continue to amaze me with how much of their heart and their soul and their energy and their time that they give, no matter who is in need. And the amazing thing to me is that many of our MIYFS professionals do not live in Mercer Island, but they give everything that they have.
Working with young people gives me hope. The reason I like working with teens is that they're resilient. They can deal with some challenging situations, but with the right kind of support, the right kind of intervention, they're able to bounce back.
The biggest thing that gives me hope is those 400 plus little bodies at West Mercer. That is the biggest thing, to just see them learn and grow and develop through adversity. Whether it is a kiddo who is trying to grow and heal through horrible neglect or abuse, or a kiddo who really struggles every day to let go of mom in the parking lot, but they do it and they try so hard, even though they're little ones, even though they're not gonna have an adult brain for another 20 years. That is truly inspiring.
I feel like as a community, we're getting better about talking about mental health and not having that stigmatized as it has been in the past. Some of our youngsters are so self-aware of what they need and how to seek that help. By giving them those skills, we can only go up from here, because by them knowing what to ask for, they can make a difference in their own life.
Despite all the challenges that we have and that we see coming in the future, I am very hopeful. This community comes together and rallies around those in need and rallies around human services in a way that is really special. And so this breakfast gives me hope. It shows how united this community is in the support for people who have mental health needs or human service needs. We're all neighbors helping neighbors, and we all show up for each other.